Hey everyone, welcome back to the Huddle brought to you by Play USA. My name's Nicole here with
Ian St. Clair.
and we missed you last week. That was my fault. I was at Formula One in Austin, Texas, but we are back. And Ian, we can't top of the hour. What is going on? What is the headwear? You have to explain it.
Well, since it's Halloween and the Broncos play at home against the Washington football team, I figured I'd dress up like a fan who cares since the Broncos aren't any good. And it's Halloween and it'll be cold since I haven't been able to wear this hat to a game yet because we usually go when it's too hot. I figured, why not? It's Halloween. I can look like an idiot and still look like I support my team.
And just to let you all know, I did ask Ian if he would be going to that game, and his answer was a resounding hell no. So he will just be wearing that regalia while he is at home, potentially scaring all the children that come to his house for trick-or-treating.
That's right. And hopefully everyone still takes me serious, even though I'm wearing this ridiculous hat.
It's going to be hard, but I'm going to try to, I'm going to just focus in on the face and try not to look above your forehead. Otherwise, I don't know how much how my attention span is going to be this video, but yes, the fact it's just so massive.
Yeah,
I feel like you need to go to a winter game so that we can see it. Also, I thought you'd be happy to know that it has hit 60 degrees and my sweater vest is officially out while walking the dog. So,
that's like short sleeve weather here.
Yeah, I did have a blanket. I went to my cousin's softball practice the other week and we did all have blankets, and I was like, Ian would be very proud of me right now for how I'm handling this cold front that's sweeping through Las Vegas.
A cold front.
I will say it was a little bit of a shock though. Austin was 88 degrees and 88% humidity. So I went from, feeling like, oh, nice crisp fall to like it is blazing hot summer for 3 days and then coming back. It's so weird. I brought a long sleeve for Austin. What a joke that was.
I will say this, there is nothing worse than heat and humidity. Like at least in Vegas, it's a dry heat.
Yes.
So, but with humidity, it sticks to you.
As much as I love general admission and watching the race, I am going to have to save up for quite some time. I need to be with the rich folk in the air conditioning padded club if I ever go to the Circuit of Americas again, because I cannot do that again. I'm not made for it. So I was at the race and I saw people walking around. And I'm like, oh my God, like they haven't even broken a sweat. Like I look like I just ran a 5K like Tough Mudder. That's how I look like I'm going through the Circuit of Americas, and these people are in heels. And then I see they're coming out of the air conditioned, hospitality tents. And I was like, honestly, if I can't do that, I don't want it. I'm not going back unless I can afford that.
Yes. But that's the reason why there was no huddle last week.
Huh?
That's the reason why there was no huddle last week.
Yes, it was my fault. That was the reason there was no huddle. It was my little brother's college graduation gift. He really wanted to go see Formula One. So I took the weekend off to take him in Austin. We had a really good time, but you wouldn't have wanted me to film from the track anyways, because it was what I like to call a hot mess express for those 3 days. But without further ado, let's kick it off for the worst of the week. You actually sent me this one. And I have to start by saying that over the past year and a half, or whenever this new rule started, these taunting penalties have gotten out of control. I almost feel like we are stripping the fun out of games. And I understand that there is a need for excessive celebration penalties, but you can't even enjoy a touchdown anymore in college and the NFL, is what it feels like to me.
Well, the thing about this one, and we'll show the clip, he didn't do anything.
Exactly.
The Iowa State receiver literally did nothing. Like it was a miniaturized version of the Deion Sanders prime time. But I mean, even that, it was like, really? That's what you're going to call for taunting? Because if you watch this and see it, and it was in the Saturday game at home for Iowa State against ranked Oklahoma State. And there was literally nothing on this play.
Nothing on this play. And also, like, let's just we'll show you the video, but to give you a little context, it is a 14-7 Oklahoma State. We're early in the third quarter, and Brock Purdy connects with Hutchinson, who is, absolutely wide open, and he takes it in for the touchdown. And a flag gets called on this play, and I think at first everyone's like, was it a holding? People are trying to figure out what the flag is on this play because there's nothing happened. And then all of a sudden the announcers, I think, catch it first that it might be unsportsmanlike conduct, and everyone loses their mind, as they should. Like, the announcers, the coaching staff, the fans are booing. If you can't even do a Jay-Z dirt off your shoulders, like, if this is excessive celebration, if this is taunting, and by the way, he wasn't even by any players in the end zone, he was by himself in the end zone. I can't agree with this, but you know what? We'll let you judge for yourself. Why don't let's go ahead and play the video.
Hutchinson did a great job. Open. It was just a quick slant. Safeties had crashed on the play fake. Oh, come on. Oh, my goodness. That is see this? Horrible. This is like the worst call in NCAA history.
They put the ball at the 18-yard line, Cyclone Case red zone.
But yeah, Ian, to me, this is ridiculous. This is ticky-tack. I think, especially on a scoring play like this, they got a first down out of it, but you don't make this call.
You can't make that call. You said that people were upset about it. They should still be upset about it because that's NFL level at this point. And the good news is that it didn't impact Iowa State. They still went on to beat Oklahoma State 24-21. But that is just ridiculous. When you watch that, you can see that he looks over his shoulder to see if there's anybody around him, so he knows whether or not he has to continue to sprint into the end zone. And when he realizes that, he does the little Dion and then
step in. Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. It is one of the worst calls I have seen in football, college or professional.
And that's why it made it our worst of the week. And again, like I said, if you're standing over a defensive player in their face, like if you're going to the sidelines and talking crap after a touchdown, of course, call them, right? Like, you have to maintain some level of respect in the game. But if you can't celebrate your own touchdown, horse agrees, Bronco agrees. If you can't celebrate your own touchdown by yourself in the end zone, like, this is ridiculous. It's going to be the most boring game to watch. So hands down for me, like like you said, one of the worst calls. Definitely had to make worst of the week. And I think you found one as well that you wanted to share with us.
Yeah, I think since it is Halloween, Mike Leach, the brilliant coach for Mississippi State, he tweeted out something that just speaks to me. I think it speaks to you. It's just a simple graphic that says how to eat candy corn. And we'll put it up on the screen for you so everyone can see it for themselves. 1, open bag. 2, pour candy corn into trash can. 3, eat a Reese's peanut butter cup. And this is the worst of this week. And it's the future worst of next week, since Halloween is on Sunday. But, candy corn is the worst of the week every week. So we have that. Yes.
First of all, can we talk about that Mike Leach post-game interview?
Oh, that was so brilliant.
Just amazing. He just comes off of like this crazy game, and he gets asked to rank his favorite Halloween candy, and the focus. He was so into that question. And he was like, okay, you have to have sprees, but they have to be sprees in the box. And sometimes you can only find them at the 99-cent store. And then you have to in gummies, but it has to be Haribo. How many times has he practiced this? Because he was so definitive in his top 3 answers.
We talked about on the broadcast how you hate candy corn. What's your favorite Halloween
candy corn? I completely hate candy corn. When I was a kid, gummy bears, let's see. Gummy bears for sure.
Sour or regular?
The Haribo. It's got to be the Haribo ones. And then the other thing I like is is when they used to have the sprees in a box. Outstanding. You have to go to the dollar store to find it, but I do. And then the latest, there's still candy innovation, although a while back I found that Europe had better candy than we did overall because they have gummy everything. And then, they have those Nerds clusters, which is new.
The gummy.
Yeah, which is good. The Nerds clusters is good. And then if you go chocolate, probably Almond Joy.
Love it. Hopefully you'll get some of that next week.
Yeah, we'll see.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Like one of the best post-game interviews I've ever seen, but I agree with Ian. Like if you're picking candy corn, if you're giving out candy corn to these trick-or-treaters, you are the worst of the week. Do not give them candy corn.
I remember telling my wife right before we started recording this, like I remember being a kid, and if someone got me candy corn, I wanted to throw it back at them. Like
honestly, just give them a toothbrush at that point,
Yeah.
right? Like you're the toothbrush guy on the neighborhood. Do not give these kids candy corn.
And back to the Mike Leach thing, the interview, I mean, it's brilliant. I mean, pretty much everything Mike Leach does is hilarious. But he literally went on about candy for a minute. Like,
Oh, I'm
just,
telling you,
it
he's
was a
letting you know
full
where you can
minute.
buy it, what brand, what bag it has to be in. Nerds ropes, which by the way, very niche candy. I feel like he's like getting into the nitty gritty, like not nerds, no Nerds ropes. It has to have the gummy in the middle. He gave that reporter so much time and was so serious about it, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah, epic. If you haven't seen it, find Mike Leach's Twitter account. It's definitely worth it. Watch it multiple times, because you picture him. You said that he had to have practiced that. I remember being a kid growing up watching the WWF and doing the monologues as a kid in front of the bathroom mirror. And I picture Mike Leach doing that with this candy answer.
I just want, like I would love to take him trick-or-treating with me or
That'd be epic.
Trick-or-treating with kids and just wait until that kid gets candy corn and just like see what his reaction is for it. But yes, this is our PSA to everyone handing out candy this weekend. Reese's peanut butter cups, always a hit. You know what? I don't agree with Mike Leach on this one. I do not like Almond Joy.
No.
I do not give out Almond Joy or Mounds. Nobody wants that.
No.
Reese's peanut butter cups, good. Nerds, parents probably hate them. Always a great option though. I know they get everywhere, but they're fantastic for kids. Tootsie Rolls, not a fan. Sorry, like don't want that on Halloween. That's not what I want.
Kit Kats.
Kit Kats, always. Snickers, good. I know like we have peanut allergies. Snickers are good. Milky Way. I prefer
Nestle Crunch.
Nestle Crunch, another. You have so many options out there. I think what sometimes gets people is like they do those mixed bags now. So like
Mhm.
get, sometimes they just throw Tootsie Rolls in with, like the good chocolate. I'm trying to decide like how many kids we're going to get. And if I want to be the cool house on the neighborhood that goes to Costco and gets the full size bars, like it gives those out.
Oh, yeah. Because when I was a kid, that was like hitting a 16-leg parlay. Like if you went to the house that was giving out full-size candy bars, you're like, that's the house that you hit up every year. But then if you go back, what they should do is be like, nope, not this year. We're just going to do the miniaturized candy bars this year. So you got to keep them interested so they don't keep coming back.
That is true. You have to keep them on their toes. I just feel like we have neighbors that basically turn their entire house into a haunted house. I mean, it looks professionally done. They have smog machines. They have so much going on. They have motion censored skeletons that talk to you. Like I can barely get my 3-foot blow up to stay upright. So I feel like I have to set myself apart somehow, and maybe just spending the money on full-size candy bars is the way to do it this year.
Well, I will say to end this little bit, I've always hated Halloween. So there's a Reese's Peanut Butter Cups commercial where it says, buy Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, turn the lights out, don't answer the door, eat the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Why do you hate it?
When I was a kid, I got scared to death by an older neighbor and it just ruined it for me.
Okay. Here's what I will say. and this happens a lot in my neighborhood, and I have very strong feelings on this. If you drive your child around
Oh,
in a
good Lord.
golf cart, I am not giving you the best candy. I'm sorry, those kids have to work for it. Like, they have to walk, put them in their Nikes, and make them walk around the corner. We don't really have inclement weather in Las Vegas. Put a jacket on them. There are so many parents that pull up to my house in these decked out golf carts, and the kids are just chilling in the back eating their candy. And I'm like, no, that is not what Halloween is about. That is not the experience. I mean, obviously, I'll give the kids candy because I'm not a Scrooge, but I definitely give those parents a death look. That is not the spirit of Halloween. Those
No.
kids have to walk.
Anyone who's been in Colorado for Halloween or anywhere that gets kind of cold, colder than 60 degrees,
Yeah.
knows, like, especially in Colorado, when it's Halloween, you're going to expect either wind, snow, rain, or a combination, which is called sleet.
I just feel like I'm like one of those old people now that's like, back in my day, I had to walk house to house to get the candy. And like, I want those kids to walk. I didn't grow up with a golf cart, so you have to walk. But okay, I'm off my Halloween soapbox. Do you have anything else candy, non-candy related to end worst of the week?
No, I think that's a great spot to end it on, is people who take their kids around on a golf cart for trick-or-treating. Come on.
I think we can all agree, worst of the week.
Yeah.
Those are the worst of the week. All right, so it is time for Take It to Twitter. And this one's a cool one because it gives us the opportunity. We haven't really done one like this to talk about sportsbook liability and to kind of get a look into the back end of how certain markets and how people bet in certain markets. So you found a pretty great graphic on Twitter, and we will go ahead and put it up. But I think you and I would both agree that if we asked around to our betting friends which team sportsbooks had the biggest liability on when it came to the NFC North, I don't think any of them would say Lions first.
I think anyone with half a brain would say not the Lions.
But this graphic is interesting because it shows that people really love betting on long shots. And so BetMGM recently, gave us a breakdown for their NFC North futures, and Lions tickets made up 34.3% of NFC North futures.
That's nuts.
It's absolutely insane. I don't think, like I said, if anyone that we knew who is a bettor, us, or our coworkers included, would not have guessed that number was coming in on the Lions. Now there is more handle coming in on Green Bay, so you're probably going to
thankfully.
Yes, you're going to see some of those bigger bets probably coming in on Green Bay. But the interesting thing is, even though Green Bay has more handle, the sportsbook has more liability with the Lions because of the long odds of these bets, right? So the Lions are huge long shots to win the NFC North. So if you have 34.3% of even $10 bets coming in on such huge odds, that represents a massive liability for the sportsbook should the Lions win. That being said, I think the sportsbook is happy to take that money because the Lions are going to be lucky to win a handful of games. Nevertheless, the NFC North, it's not going to happen. So even though it represents a big liability for them, probably going to be safe in this one. What do you think?
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, I think the only way you bet the Lions is if it's the 0-17 market that's available. I mean, look at what they did against the Rams on Sunday. Dan Campbell basically threw the kitchen sink and then threw like 3 more kitchen sinks into trying to win this game. He was going for it on 4th down. He did 2 fake punts. He did a surprise onside kick. Like, he was literally doing anything and everything he could. Like, he was not just throwing the kitchen sink. He was throwing the kitchen at this game. And I mean, as a player, I would love it because you have a coach who's like, you know what? We know we don't have a shot in hell at playing or winning this game, so we're going to go for it.
I like it too.
But to bet them to win the NFC North, I joked with you. There's a line from Robin Hood Men in Tights, the brilliant Mel Brooks movie, and there's a scene from Robin Hood where he says, "Lend me your ears." So, Michigan bettors, Lions bettors, lend me your ears. Stop betting the Lions and read playmichigan.com.
Yes. We have betting breakdowns and all the stats that you need. I mean, it is, like I said, it is fun to bet on long shots, and I get that. And BetMGM does have a big presence in Michigan, and we get that too. Um, but again, this is money that the sports book they might put out there that it's their biggest liability. This is money that they are happy to take. Nobody behind that sports book trading desk is sweating bullets because 34.3% of the bets on the NFC North have come in on the Lions, because it is going to take a freaking miracle for that to hit. So I think they're pretty comfortable right now again. But it's just an interesting look. And an interesting opportunity for us to kind of explain this, because sometimes you see these breakdowns and it doesn't make sense. And you're like, well, how can more of the handle be on Green Bay, but the bigger liability be on the Lions? And obviously, if you are, a veteran bettor, you understand how this works. But it is definitely something, a different concept for some of those new bettors. So this was a good take it to Twitter and a good little lesson, I felt like.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is where it's important, where you mentioned people love to bet on the long shot. And there is a great opportunity for that in terms of baseball. Before the Cardinals went on that ridiculous 17-game winning streak, they were a long shot to miss the playoffs. Now, had you gotten on that, that's where it will pay off, because, I mean, obviously you're not going to expect the Cardinals to go on a 17-game winning streak, but that's where it's important to find something that's actually realistic. Yes, it's a long shot, but can it happen? And that's where it's important to find the value. And I think that's what it's all about with sports betting, is finding the right value, not just throwing money away because it's a long shot and it could make a lot of money, which is why I'm going to start preaching this. Stop doing same game parlays. It's not going to happen. Sportsbooks advertise them because it's how they make money. They literally don't hit. I have done 10 this year, and I think one has hit. That's 10%. Usually sports betting is around 40 to 50. When you're good, like the
When you're good.
professionals.
Yes, when you're good.
10%. So stop doing same game parlays.
I mean, and here's the thing, and I know they're fun. And I think here's the thing that we have for same game parlays.
I don't want to be the no fun police.
Yeah, we are getting on a little bit of a tangent. They are heavily marketed, right? So we understand that they are in your face a lot, and we understand that they are fun, and it's something new in the sports betting scene. So it's definitely something that people want to try. But if you're going to do them, just do them with caution, because, again, parlays are how sports books make their money. A lot of their money, and
most of their money.
Exactly. And these same game parlays are a massive chunk of that. And this is why you have seen sports books rush to get this out. Not all sports books had same game parlays. I believe BetMGM was one of the first, and FanDuel was one of the first.
DraftKings didn't even get same game parlays until the middle of August.
Yeah. And now you're seeing that these sports books are prioritizing making this a possibility on their books because they are such a moneymaker for them. So again, if you're going to do it, use caution. Yes. Thank you.
Miles agrees. By the way, Miles is the mascot, so we're going to call him Miles.
Okay. I'm glad Miles agrees. It's better than me just calling him the Bronco. I'm glad that he has a name, but yes. So that was our tangent. Do you have anything else for our take it to Twitter?
I do. For those who have watched the NFL, JJ Watt has suffered some severe bad luck when it comes to injuries, but he suffered one on Sunday against the Texans, and we'll play the replay of when he got injured. He's now going to miss the rest of the year. with a shoulder injury that's going to require surgery. And as Ian Rappaport reported, he'll have the surgery to repair it mid to next week. So he's going to be out the rest of the year. What's fascinating about this, as we record this before, and when people watch this, you will know the outcome of the Cardinals and the Packers game on Thursday night. As we sit here, we don't know what that is yet. It's going to be fascinating how this impacts the Cardinals defense, because as I said, right now, they are the lone undefeated team left in the National Football League. How does this impact what Vance Joseph does with his defense? How does this impact how good the defense is? They should be getting Chandler Jones back. But it's crazy to me that as you watch this and you can see where he got hurt, he stayed in the game and continued to play.
The Watt brothers are a different breed. I mean, when the Steelers didn't have TJ Watt, garbage. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then I don't know how, I don't know how it's going to impact the Cardinals, but yeah, he's a monster, and his arm was already in a brace. Like, you can see that it's already effed up, and then he falls on it and he dislocates his shoulder, and then he's like, nah, just, keep me in the game. But let's go ahead and play the video so you can see. But yeah, the fact that anyone played after that is absolutely insane. So,
like, I'd be on IR and I sit at my desk.
Yeah, exactly. I have neck pain from working on my computer, and I need to take a 15-minute break to walk around, so I obviously am not equipped to play in the National Football League. But again, like you said, we record this on Thursday morning, so we don't know the outcome of tonight's game. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out without him in the defense.
Yeah, so keep that in mind, whether it's for fantasy defense. I still think the Cardinals are going to have a good defense, but in terms of futures, for some reason, the Cardinals are still below a couple of teams for Super Bowl odds, even though they're the lone undefeated team, which is fascinating. Talk about value.
Yep.
That could be it right there. So just keep that in mind when you're looking for fantasy defenses or futures.
All right. I think you know what time it is. It's time to get in our boat and row it to Fantasy Island. But all right, Fantasy Island, here are my few little nuggets. So I understand that if you have Daniel Jones, you probably haven't been, super impressed with him this season. And we've seen that he's not really, according to ESPN, he's not sitting on a lot of rosters. However, the Giants are going up against the Chiefs this weekend, and the Chiefs have an absolutely atrocious defense. So
as we've said multiple times on this show.
And it's not changing. They continue to just have an atrocious defense. So if you're in between quarterbacks and you happen to have Daniel Jones on your roster, I'm going to make a pitch for you to start him this week, because I think if he's going to go off on any team, it's going to be this Chiefs defense. And my second point, and I think, Ian, you agreed with this, but if you're in need of a running back, take a look at who is on the waiver wire for the Eagles. Miles Sanders is out with an ankle injury. He had to be carted off the field last weekend, which means it's probably going to be a few weeks before he returns at minimum. So there is some value there in picking up Kenneth Gainwell.
Absolutely. And then, as I've said multiple times, if you're in a salary cap league, even if you're not in a salary cap league, you can stream your defense if you need defense in fantasy football. This is the week to pick up the Cincinnati Bengals. If they're available, the Jets are a horrible offense, even with Zach Wilson. Now Zach Wilson is out. The Bengals just shut down Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Now they're going against the Jets without Zach Wilson. Pick up the Bengals.
Yeah, who would have thought the Bengals would be where they are at this season? But you know what?
Our old friend Jess didn't even expect that. So that tells you.
Yeah, we are our colleague, friend, a former boss, diehard Cincinnati Bengals fan, and definitely a Cincinnati Bengals pessimist, which I can't say anything because I am a Steelers pessimist every season. But yes, I don't even think she is expecting it. So we hope that you're enjoying it while it lasts. But all right, do you have anything else for Fantasy Island?
I do. I think if you're in need of a tight end, back to the Bengals again, keep an eye on CJ Uzama. He's had a couple of big games, so I wouldn't say that he would be like a tight end one or anything, but maybe you could put a flyer on it. Or if you have a mix of receivers and tight ends, he could be like a wide receiver 3 or a flex. So Joe Burrow is definitely looking at CJ Uzama in big situations. So that's someone that you could potentially put a flyer on. And I'll add another one. I added Jordan Schultz, who's the Dallas Cowboys tight end, to my roster. And that's someone that Dalton Schultz, sorry. He is someone to another possibility for a tight end flyer.
All right, let's get back in the boat and take it back to the mainland. We are going to go into a promo party, and this one is going to be for new users. FanDuel is offering new users the opportunity to bet $5, win $125 if any touchdown is scored in the Cowboys Vikings game. So pretty much a no-brainer here. And here is how it works. So first you have to register for FanDuel Sportsbook. If you go to any of our sites, again, Ian runs Play Colorado, I run Play Indiana and Play 10tenn.com, but also playusa.com. You're going to see a banner for FanDuel. Click on it and register. Make your first time deposit. On that homepage of the app, because this is in-app only, you are going to find marketing that says 1+ touchdown to be scored Minnesota-Dallas game. That's the market you're going to see. Bet $5 max using those enhanced odds. And then if any team scores a touchdown, you're going to get $125 cash added to your account. Yeah, cash
Real
money.
Real money.
And honestly, let's just really quickly, there are you don't see this a lot. Most of the time, it is going to come in free bets or some sort of credit that you have to wager within a certain amount of time on the site. So honestly, this is a great promotion for FanDuel that they're giving you $125 in cash. Again, this offer is in-app only, so make sure you download the FanDuel app and register using the links on our pages.
As I said in my story at playcolorado.com, there are no-brainers. And then there are no-brainers. This puts the no-brainer in no-brainer. And I actually think it's going to up the game for the rest of the operators, because you mentioned that all the time, sportsbooks do it in free bets or credit. The fact that this is real cash money on a touchdown to be scored, and these are two of the highest scoring teams in the league. They both rank in the top 15.
Exactly.
And a lot of people think this is going to be a high scoring game. So you put your $5 down and wait for the first drive of either team, and you're going to get $125 in cash.
Yeah, I don't even think you're gonna have to sweat it that long.
No, you're not going to have to sweat at all.
But yeah, this is, again, and Ian and I have talked about them, and we understand that a lot of you probably do already have FanDuel accounts. But if you happen to be a new bettor and you were going to place a wager on an NFL game this week already, you might as well sign up for FanDuel and do this, because it's such a great value. So that by far is one of the best offers we've seen for a promo party.
Absolutely. And the only state that it's not available in is Connecticut. So if you're in a state, except for where Nicole is in Nevada, you can get this.
Yeah, exactly. It's available to most of you. Did you have one that you wanted to add?
I did. So DraftKings is doing bet $5, win $200. This is again for new users. How it works is you make a deposit of at least $5 into your account. Following the deposit, place a money line bet of at least $5 on any NFL game. If your team wins, you will get issued a $200 free bet bonus, plus the cash winnings from the wager you placed. Once the original bet settles, the 200 bet bonus is paid in 8 $25 free bets. So some sports books just give you a lump, like a $100 free bet or two $100 bets if it's $200. With DraftKings, at least they break it up to 8 $25 free bets, but it's free bets. So unlike FanDuel, it's not cash money. But what I say to people when you sign up for an app and you get these free bets, it gives you the opportunity to try different things. You can place some futures bets. You can place a same game parlay if you want to do one. You can do some teasers, perhaps do like a 2 to 3 game spread teaser. To me, those are safer than doing a same game parlay, or go crazy and do like a 16 leg money line parlay.
Exactly. You've got the free bets. And that is a really good point too. And before we get off promo party, but it's a really good point talking about how different sports books credit these free bets, because there are some people that just don't want to spend $250 on a single bet. There are some people that absolutely do want to spend $250 on a single bet. So this is, and I'll kind of break it down, but Caesar Sportsbook offers an up to $5,000 risk-free first bet. So, but that one, if you lose your bet, you get a free bet in the total amount of what your first bet was. So if you placed $1,000 first bet, you're getting a free bet back, but it's $1,000 free bet. It's a one-time use.
And that's your $1,000.
Exactly. So, that's a lot of money originally to put on a game, but then that's also a lot of money to put on a secondary game. So if you are not a high value bettor and you prefer more volume, then some of these promotions where they break the bets down for you into usable chunks, I prefer. But again, we do know people that like to bet more money. In that scenario, the Caesar Sportsbook offer would be better for you if you're looking to bet less, but bet more money on each individual bet.
Exactly. And PointsBet does 2 $1,000 risk-free bets. So that's another one. It's about your personal flavor. Like if you're a high roller, so to speak, that's what you do. If you're more into just volume, as you said, then that's where you go. But the PointsBet one, just to be clear, is 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000.
Gotcha. So yeah, I mean, again, we always just advocate for knowing your betting style, knowing your betting bankroll and how you like to bet, and then reading the terms and conditions on these promotions to find one that suits you. Because again, if you're a high roller or if you're betting high numbers, that Caesar Sportsbook is an awesome opportunity for you.
Absolutely.
Whereas if you're a higher volume but lower dollar amount better, then this FanDuel and DraftKings is definitely where you want to look. So again, know your betting style, type, and know your bankroll and manage your bankroll. Is
responsible gambling. As the saying goes, bet with your head, not over it.
Yes. All right. Now it's time to get into our competition. I believe I am an even 3-3 after 2 weeks ago because we didn't make our bets last week. So it is time for prop, lock, and drop it. And I'll go ahead and start us off. So DraftKings actually has a weekly special this week, and it is for Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor to go over 199.5 combined rushing yards. And yes is plus 115 at DraftKings, and I like it.
That's great value.
I like it a lot. Derrick Henry leads the NFL in rushing attempts, and versus the AFC South, he has 144 yards per game. Against the AFC South, he has 144 yards per game. Against the Colts, he has 4 straight games with 100 plus rushing yards. And Jonathan Taylor is second in the NFL behind Derrick Henry. So if Derrick Henry didn't exist, Jonathan Taylor would be there. So I think you have Derrick Henry going for a ton of records this season, trying to finally get that MVP nod this season. He likes going against the AFC South. And you just have 2 really, really, really productive running backs. And I think they're going to get over 199.5 combined rushing yards. So I am taking yes, plus 115 at DraftKings.
The thing that makes that good value is plus 115.
Yep.
Typically, you'll see it 110 to 120. And again, we've talked about this on previous shows, that the 110 is the vig that goes to the sports books. So the fact that the 115 is there makes that good value.
Yep.
For me, I'm going off the cuff here. I'm going with, at DraftKings, they have a total fourth down conversions market for the Patriots at the Chargers. And there's over 1.5, there's under 1.5. The over 1.5 is plus 120 right now. I'm going to hit that. I'm going to hammer it. I'm going to hammer it twice. Why? Because Brandon Staley is the modern riverboat gambler when it comes to NFL head coaches. The Chargers were third in the NFL in fourth down conversion rate, entering their last game against the Baltimore Ravens, an astonishing 87.5%. That's 7 of 8 of fourth down opportunities converted successfully. In Sunday's in their loss to the Ravens, the Chargers were 1 of 4 on fourth down with the lone conversion of Justin Herbert quarterback sneak. So the thing about Brandon Staley is he just doesn't go for it on fourth down. He goes for it deep in his own territory. So this guy just doesn't care. Like he
goes for it on every fourth.
He doesn't even have a punter. I don't know if he has a punter on his roster. So I mean, yeah, total fourth down conversions. So that means that they have to convert on fourth down. So if you did it against the Ravens, it wouldn't have hit because he was only 1 of 4. But I think they're going to get at least 2 against the Patriots.
All right, so this is total fourth down conversions just for that team, not total fourth down conversions in the game.
It's for the game.
So either team?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's total fourth down conversions for the Patriots and the Chargers.
Oh, okay.
And the over is 1.5 plus 120.
I like it. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up for this week's The Huddle. If you are betting, good luck. And if you are not betting, enjoy the games this weekend. And we will see you next week.